And welcome back into this, the third match of 4 in the first round of the Unsquashable Premier League. This contest, TEMWA CHILESHE up against the just 17, Leo FATIALOFA. In fact, his birthday was on Wednesday, so 2 days ago here. And we have TEMWA CHILESHE with a current ranking of 337. He won his first satellite tournament earlier in the year. And he's in the orange. He is the younger brother of Lwamba CHILESHE, Louis CHILESHE, who's ranked 150 in the world. And Leo FATIALOFA is from a very big squash family in the western part of Auckland, out of the Henderson Club. And Leo FATIALOFA has his first ranking points. He's currently 380 on the PSA ranking at the present time. And as we've seen so far in the 2 previous matches, where we had Joel Ascott defeating Michael Shelton-Agar in 4, and Elijah Thomas beating Glenn Templeton in 5. It takes the players a little while to warm up. This is their first competitive match in 7 to 8 weeks. It is also a little bit cooler as well, with Auckland getting closer to winter temperatures. But these players, they've got a first week of 4 and taking their time to get into the match. So far, Leo FATIALOFA is pretty much on fire to start this contest, playing very quick. Whether or not he'll be able to sustain that is a different matter. Temwa just using a bit more touch, and perhaps his ability to hold a point and hold the ball may come through in the end. But at the moment, well, it's a handy lead to Leo FATIALOFA. And it's not as if that Leo FATIALOFA is that much younger than his opponent. Temwa is 19 years old, won't be turning 20 until August. In fact, the oldest player in this competition was actually Michael Shelton-Agar at 21, with Leo FATIALOFA the youngest at 17. And we hope that you're enjoying being able to see live squash again with PSA ranked players. It is a first for New Zealand, let alone probably for the world as well. Many nations still in high level lockdown, whereas New Zealand has gone into level 2, which means most things are open. You have to restrict crowd numbers. There's certainly people enjoying the freedom after 7 weeks of restrictions. And all the players here at Squash XL having to abide by hygiene and health regulations. Also, no more than 10 people in the gathering. Certainly at the 1 level. 8 players involved in the tournament. And of course, two of the players in the tournament do actually live at the venue at the present time, and one of them is on court right now. That's TEMWA CHILESHE, and also Joel Scott, who is with me very shortly, just warming down from his match earlier tonight. He'll be joining us very shortly. Some good court coverage there by TEMWA, but he managed to pick up another shot. Oh, well done to Leo FATIALOFA. He's certainly got plenty of speed around the court that he just showed in that rally, and all of the rallies so far in this game. Let's see if he can take out this first game. He has game point at the present time. Not able to take the game ball advantage on that opportunity there, on that occasion. And a good control. Okay, so and this is a little different for the players, where they get the opportunity in this first round to say short or long. Leo wasn't quite familiar with that. Well, there was just something for newcomers there. Getting to 10-all, Leo FATIALOFA was offered the opportunity of going short or long. He wasn't quite familiar with that. He is only 17, probably hasn't really played that before. Certainly didn't expect it. And the official said short or long, and then she decided to choose short for him. Unfortunately, it didn't quite go his way. So TEMWA CHILESHE taking that in the end by 11-10. We'll be back with the second game very shortly. And welcome back to this, the second game of the third match in this, the Unsquashable Premier League. And this particular contest between TEMWA CHILESHE and Leo FATIALOFA. And joining me now is Joel Scott, who won the first match in 4 games. You happy with your performance, Joel?
I'm not massively satisfied, but an ugly win's better than a pretty loss. So yeah, it's just good to be on court and competing again. Lots of nerves, a lot of time off. So yeah, just trying to embrace that and enjoy it.
Well, I guess that's the thing, isn't it? That just getting on court, playing a point, and playing points and then losing a point and then figuring out how to come back.
Yeah, it's just a lot of cobwebs for a lot of the boys, but yeah, like you said, just getting your head back in the right space is the main thing, I guess, and enjoying competing with each other.
Does it feel strange? I mean, I know you've competed all your life almost in squash, but does it feel strange?
I mean, it's the longest time we've all had off. For me personally, being here the whole time, it's not super strange, but playing with pressure again for me is the big thing. When we're getting televised like we are today, it's a bit more pressure than what we're used to. So yeah, playing with those nerves again and that excitement and that fuel in your belly, that was nice and a familiar feeling, but nice to feel again. Yeah.
And your opponent, Michael Shelton Agar, he was a little bit unorthodox. Quite hard to pick some of his shots.
Yeah, I've seen him play a few times, but everyone plays different on the glass court. It can die off a lot, and it can favour certain games. certainly, if you've ever played on a glass court, you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it makes you appreciate the top players. So when he was playing those unorthodox shots into the front, it was a bit unexpected and hard to cope. But yeah, figured it out in the end, which is the main thing.
Initially, the two of you were pushing forward, not really using the back corners. Was that because it was cold, or was it just part of your tactics?
I guess for me, pushing forward, I love to volley. I like to play at pace. I like to hunt the ball around the front. Yeah, he was chipping in short as well, and I was just trying to stay in front, and then the game sort of progressed into the front two corners a bit more, which isn't really how I like to play, but the court's playing like that at the time, so that's what we sort of went into.
And from what you've seen of this particular contest, Leo is pretty quick around the court, isn't he? He can move.
It's surprising, yeah. We see it with Glenn as well, and Temwa actually. You know, these taller guys, they're all getting up around 6 foot plus, and you know, they're not light boys. They're carrying over 85 kgs, some of them, but they can really stretch out, and you can see the benefits of that on this court. You know, yeah, long lunges.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Leo only been 17 a couple of days ago, so good for him to compete. He had the opportunity to win that first game. I'm not sure if he was familiar with long or short on the score. I don't know, but
yeah, I think took the risk there. Unfortunately, it didn't pay off for him. But yeah, it's good to see that, and a bit of controversy with that.
Yeah. Well, it was good. The official actually called it for him.
Yeah,
Said you were going short.
There you go.
And that ball, well, it cleared everything, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it's on court 3 right now.
Yeah, exactly. I think you guys can see in the matches so far that there's a bit of enjoyment.
Yeah.
No one likes to lose, but there's still a bit of enjoyment. And perhaps next week, or maybe tomorrow or the next day.
I guess like the main thing at the moment for all the athletes around the world is just playing the sport for a different reason or being forced to.
Yep.
And I think we can see that here. A few more smiles getting around and a bit more humour, which I think is good to see. And everyone just enjoying their sport a bit more and remembering why they started it in the first place, you know?
That's a good point. Anybody around the world and people who are around the world at maybe morning time for them can see some live sport.
Yeah.
And just about everybody here has a PSA ranking.
Yep.
And just see how, well, New Zealand has managed to start or restart quicker and faster than most other countries, and that's good to see.
Yeah, we really knocked it on the head, didn't we?
Well, let's cross our fingers.
Yeah, fingers crossed. But no, Jacinda did a great job and knocked it on the head for us. And I think we all came together as a country, and obviously now are reaping the rewards as squash players being able to get back on court this early. So double stoked, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And for you, this venue is your home.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that you spend a lot of time here. You actually do spend a lot of time here. Yeah. You and Tem live here.
Eat, sleep, train. Yeah, you name it, it's here.
The idea of staying here, I mean, there's enough space, and John Duggan was very good to put the offer out there. I guess it makes you think that some of these professional players around the world, that is what they do.
Yeah.
They don't go out and party. I mean, you're 20 years old. That's what most 20-year-olds would be doing. You know, aside from the lockdown, they'll be going out and partying. You know, this is your philosophy that if you want to get better, you have to live, sleep, eat squash, don't you?
I guess it's not the easiest thing to come to terms with, but especially being 20, as you said, I think it's got to be. If there was a statistic on it, it would be a very, very small percentage of people my age doing the thing that we do. And yeah, you do have to commit to it at my age. The way I like to look at it is doing my apprenticeship before.
It's not like, oh, drag, I've got to get up and play.
I mean, of course, you're not here every day. Nice honesty there from Temwa. But you're not here every day wanting to be here. I mean, when you live where you train, it does get mentally hard, but it's obviously to be expected. And having someone else to go through it with, it makes it a lot easier, for sure. But yeah, I mean, the way I look at it is I'm just doing my apprenticeship before I can do my trade. So I'm doing my tough years before I can get to reap the rewards later on. Some of those big movements you were just talking about there.
Yeah. No, it's to me, it's good to see different players coming in, and Leo competing against yourself and Tim and others like that. Glenn and Elijah again playing each other. How many times that is.
Very familiar, yeah.
And really with the age group being 21 to 17, it is the majority of young players in New Zealand who have got PSA rankings or who really want to get out on that court. It's great to see.
Yeah, there's a lot of hunger out there, young guys. Some egos, lots of testosterone, but it's a good opportunity, and not many people are getting that opportunity at our age.
And there we go. It's Tim taking the second game after he took the first 11-10. This one 11-7. So we'll be back very shortly for the third game. And we're back now with the third game of this, the third match. It is the Unsquashable Premier League here at Squash XL. And thanks to John Duggan for putting this on, and also to those watching around the world. Hope you're enjoying a little bit of live squash action. And Joe Ascot, this particular game, what are you seeing here? You're seeing Temwa just control what he wants?
Yeah, I mean, being in his corner the last few games, but no, it's just about when the ball's this dead and you're on a glass court and you haven't played a pro match or a competitive match in 5 or however many weeks, there's a lot of weird things going through your mind. So it's just about trying to calm down, hit your targets, enjoy it, embrace it at the same time. But just try and hit those targets again and process all those feelings that are going through your body.
I guess the other thing is, it doesn't matter how fit you are.
No.
This is your first match. You've got to make sure you don't get injured. You've got to make sure you're physically fit as well, and physical as in bumping into each other and running around and putting pressure on your body.
Yeah, a lot of it can be from the adrenaline as well when you haven't played in a while. You can get very tense and it's just dealing with that. All these guys, I'm sure, have been doing stuff over the lockdown period, and but yeah, nothing like a competitive match to blow out a few cobwebs after five weeks.
Nice,
especially with the movements that they're doing at the moment. There you see Leo just bending over, feeling the effects of that.
Well, Leo FATIALOFA got himself into position there, but then probably forced the error on himself.
It's quick fire stuff, and with the boys' frames, those movements add up.
As a youngster, as a barely 17-year-old, how do you slow yourself down? Do you have would you have a system of counting to 5 or just take a deep breath? Because it's almost like he does need to slow down a little.
I mean, everyone has their own thing. For me, when I was 17, it feels like yesterday, didn't really have one, to be honest. So I just would go gung-ho and try and take that ball as early as I can. But no, Leo's played a lot of squash. He's played, he's been pro for almost a year now, I think, or played at least a dozen satellites or equivalent, world juniors, national junior finals. So I'm sure he's familiar with all this stuff. It's just a matter of these circumstances today with the lockdown and that kind of thing. So, but I'm sure
for someone like him, 17-year-old, you just want to go for it. You've been cooped up for so long, haven't you?
Just that enjoyment of hitting the ball, really, as well.
Yeah. What would you see as the strength of someone like Tim? What's his strengths on the court?
Apart from his size, he's got a lot of power. When he is personally, I find him very hard to play on his forehand. Just that straight hill and around that Emilio, you see right there, just the pure power on his forehand, winning that rally with that shot. It's definitely difficult to play against, and again, big guy, big reach, hard to compete with around the middle at times.
Does he do a lot of weight training? Have you seen him do that, or is he different type of
You'd be
training?
surprised. He actually hasn't done a lot in his time. Him and his brother brought up through, athletics, and Tim was actually really good sprinter, as you can see with the size of those calves. But yeah, no, he actually hasn't done a lot of weight training, which will be a surprise to a lot of people, especially when you look at him for the first time.
Because for a squash player, he's quite thick set.
Yeah. I'd describe him as like a NFL player build almost.
Right.
You know, big, powerful. Yeah.
What does he describe you as?
I don't know, to be honest. maybe more of a cyclist. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that. Leaner, for sure.
So you do go cycling quite a lot out on the roads here. You're in West Auckland. Where have you been able to get on the roads?
Yeah. Love my cycling. Aside from my squash, head out into the Waitakeries a lot, which is for any cyclist.
A lot of hills.
Oh yeah, any cyclist in New Zealand knows what I'm talking about when I say the Waitakeries. But yeah, scenic drive, all those amazing views, a lot of hills, a lot of steep gradients, but good for the mind, getting up those things.
Yeah, I guess getting out on the bike,
Yeah.
out on the roads is so much better and almost more fun than actually being on the bike here inside, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a different kind of adrenaline rush, and we get cooped up here, me and Tim, so it's nice to get out and also get some good, tough, different cross training into our legs at the same time.
FATIALOFA keeping in this particular set. He's making Tim work a lot. There appears to be a real business-like approach to Tim's game. Would that be correct? He's kind of quite business sometimes. He's efficient.
He's a professional guy, and he's quite intense as we both are. But very business-like, very professional, and that's the way he carries himself. It's a good squeeze.
And there we go. That is that game set match there to TEMWA CHILESHE 11-10, 11-7 and 11-8. And Joel, that's pretty professional, pretty efficient, just kind of what you would expect.
Yeah, bit of a slow start, I'd say, for both of them. Then an interesting game in the second. But no, that was a good professional performance from TEMWA, and just capitalising when you need to.